All right, we're live. All right, Facebook, here we are. We got these beautiful ladies today. Sorry, we're a minute late. No worries. We're going to get started on our podcast here as fast as we possibly can. You guys can hear me okay? Your sound's okay, so we're good. I thought you guys all sounded all right. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and get started and hit record here. All right, listeners, welcome back to the show. I am so excited that we have another episode of Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. So we are excited that you're here with us today. We have finally made it to September, and I'm here to report that I walked outside this morning and it was about 80 some degrees, which for Arizona, we have been 115 nonstop. So it was cooler outside than it was in my house this morning. I couldn't even believe it. It was amazing. So fall is coming and I'm so excited because I get to get my boots out and sweaters. It's so much fun. So we're happy that you're here with us. We have a jam-packed hour to talk with some amazing guests that we have here with us today. We have Michele Wilson with us, who's a TV talk show host, a business growth and marketing strategist. So Michele, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Colleen. It's a
so
pleasure.
Happy to have you here. We also have Sathya Callendar with us today. Now, she publishes a magazine, Scars of Survival, helps many, many, many women with struggling with abuse. So I'm super excited to have her on the show with us today as well. And we'll be interviewing both of these beauties here in just a minute. But I would like to start off with a special co-host that I have with me today, who is Ashley Schmitz. She owns Each Penny Bookkeeping. And as a member of Lead Up for Women, our members have the opportunity to step into a co-host spotlight where they get to join me on the podcast to launch a book or an event or something that they're doing where they want to get a little bit more traction on the event and exposure for what they're doing. This is a great opportunity, women. We talk about it all the time. You need to say yes to spotlights. We need to step in more spotlights. We need to use our voices and speak up. Don't assume people are just going to know you have an event and they're just going to sign up for it, right? We need to market, promote ourselves. So it's a great lesson for today that I asked Ashley last week because she was our guest on the podcast and she said, put me in there. I'm going for it. I want to be a co-host. So Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back.
Your hair looks amazing.
Thanks. I try.
So for any of those listening to us on the podcast, you can always go over to our Facebook group at Lead Up for Women, and you can find us there and watch the video. Again, we will have all of these links that we talk about today in the podcast description section, so no worries there. All right, Ashley, let's talk about what you are offering today and a little bit about you so our listeners and our viewers can get to know you.
Yeah, so I'm Ashley Schmitz and I own Each Penny Bookkeeping. I call myself a bookkeeper, but I'm an accountant. But I like the word bookkeeper just because it's nicer. It's somebody more involved in your finances, not somebody you just hand your receipts at the end of the year. So that's what I do in my very spare time of, 4 children, 3 dogs, and, a husband. So that's what I do in my spare time. But what I'm offering is, so each month for small business owners, I offer a business bookkeeping boot camp, and I am hosting it on September 24th. We start at 10 a.m. Central Time, and it goes till about 2 p.m., but it is an all over view of everything finance and the things that you should know and be aware of in your finances, because you all got into business and you did it to do the things that you love. But the other part of business is you have to know what's going on in your finances. And that's what I love to do. So I make sure that I teach and prepare business owners to be able to know what's going on in their finances so that they can proactively grow it and not reactively see what's going on and wish they would have done something different. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, awesome, Ashley. So how does someone get signed up for this event?
There will be a link under the Facebook post. It is through Easy Register. So all you do is you click in. It's a $47 class. It is jam-packed with a bunch of information. And you click the link, you register, and then I send you an email and I'll see you then.
That's awesome. I've registered for her event, and here's what I would like to offer all of you so that you understand what you're getting. She's going to teach you so much about bookkeeping. So you can just walk away with the knowledge for $47 of what you need to be doing to be prepped for your taxes, to be prepped with the current laws, to understand spending, to understand how to keep your books. And then you can decide for yourself, do I want to do all of this once you learn all of it, or do you want to hire Ashley to be able to take care of your books? And let me tell you, she is too affordable. I like to use that word. She's very affordable.
I find my fees in your books.
Yes, she does. So don't you worry about that. That's the best type of bookkeeper to have, when you know that you're spending money where you shouldn't be, but you can't necessarily find that. So super excited that she has that coming up. What was the date on that, Ashley?
September 24th.
September 24th.
It is a Thursday.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to repeat that again for everyone, and I'll go ahead and have Ash drop her information down into the link. And if you're listening on the podcast, it'll be right there in your podcast description. You can just click on the link and get yourself registered. I highly recommend this one. This one's a 5-star from me. So I think it's wonderful. Thanks, Ashley, for sharing that information with us. All right, ladies, well, let's go ahead and get moving on, getting caught up. So if you haven't had the opportunity to attend one of our Lunch and Learns, we just had one for September. It was phenomenal, minus my internet issue that I had. Come on, have we not all had some technical issues happen? It became a teachable moment. It was what it was. But what I love about our Lunch and Learns is I've created them for you. Not only do I teach for 30 minutes, but we have the opportunity for you to go into 2 different breakout rooms. You get to meet ladies you've never met before. This is your opportunity to widen your circle of influence. I highly recommend that all of you look at spending the big $20 to show up for the Lunch and Learn for a 90-minute networking opportunity for you. And we do those the first Thursday of every month. Again, I'll put the link in the description and again below in our Facebook group. But I highly recommend that you look at attending those every month. I'm teaching on a different subject. You're going to get different women show up to each one of those Lunch and Learns. So great opportunity for networking for you. Again, these are for you. And I also wanted to mention that I also released my newest LEAP program, which is finally my VIP coaching that I do one-on-one with the ladies of Lead Up for Women. You guys asked and I delivered. So I'm very happy to be running that program. It is open all year long. There isn't an open or close period. So if you are interested, I will put a link for you to schedule some time with me if you are interested in working with me one-on-one. All right. Well, without further ado, I would love for us to get to our first guest, who is Michele. Now, Michele, besides being absolutely beautiful, I just think she's so stunning. She's passionate about coaching and training, and she loves to work with women entrepreneurs. You got my heart, girl. I'm just telling you right now. I love my women entrepreneurs. And, you know, she's a visionary. She runs an online business. And she really wants to help women have the freedom, make more money, spend more time with their families. It's what we all dream of, right? You've got to build your life and then build your business around your life. Don't do it the opposite way. You'll resent your business. Just saying, ladies. So Michele, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Colleen. And it's such an honor and a privilege. And yeah, I love working with women, and I love what you're doing for women in the community. So I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So let's go way back. You know, I didn't wake up, or be born or at 5 years old and say, when I grow up, I want to lead a women's organization. And because back then women couldn't even get loans, we could probably barely vote. I'm that old. So really, the truth was I probably wanted to be a doctor or a nurse, or, I wanted to be a firefighter. Who knows what at that age what I wanted to be. I think I wanted to be a singer. That was my thing then. I wanted to be a singer. So I didn't know I was going to land here. So Michele, tell us a little bit about the path in your life and maybe some pivotal moments that brought you to really stepping into your gift and what you're so excited about doing today and why you do that. Talk to us about that path for you.
Thank you so much. And really, I love when you talked about it. What do you want to be when you grow up, right? And I remember I wanted to be a professional dancer. I mean, I started dancing like ballet, tap, and jazz at 5 years old. You know, I was on the drill team, and dancing was my life. And then you talked about a pivotal moment. My pivotal moment was at 17 when I gave birth to my first son. And so I was a teenage mom, and my life totally changed at that point in time. And so I kind of did what my parents said. My parents were very supportive at that time, but they said, you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, and you need to get a good job, right? And so I did that. I followed that path because I had my son. I was a single parent, and I needed to really take care of him and focused on him. And you talked about it earlier about, building your life around what you love, right? Well, I did the opposite, right? I just wanted to get out there and find a job so I could support my son. And there was like 3 different times in my life actually where it was pivotal, where I found that I was in a life that I didn't enjoy. I was unhappy. And one of that, things was about, I was working for other people, and I was always broke and struggling. And early on, I did have entrepreneur family. My dad, was in business for himself, and I had a grandfather who was in business for himself. So it was I felt like it was in my DNA. So I was always unhappy when I was working for the other person, trying to, tell me what to do, what time to show up. And I just had this little baby, and I was trying to go to college, just making ends meet. So that's kind of like my first pivotal moment, is when I was 17. And I knew that there was something better for me out there. So I kind of always had 2 jobs, or like I call it a side hustle, always kind of was starting different businesses along the way, not only working a full-time job, but, just doing something on the side. So that's how I kind of got started in entrepreneurship.
So when you were doing some of your side hustles, I'm dying to find out, what these side hustles were that you were doing. Was it makeup? Was it jewelry? Was it, what was it? What was your side hustles that you were working?
Well, the first one was actually graphic design. It was just, I was not a graphic designer, but it's like, oh, this sounds great, right? For businesses like websites and so forth. So I learned how to do websites. And actually, because I was a single mom, and I wanted to go in business for myself, I had to learn to do a lot of things for myself. I couldn't hire people. So, I did web designing and, trying to build my business and marketing. And really what I found is I got into a direct sales marketing. So I was in direct sales. One was makeup back then. I did nutrition. And then the last one was actual legal services for over 10 years. So I really love the model of direct sales because you can truly leverage yourself and also empower and coach others to do the same. But I learned my leadership skills and so forth through the direct sales industry, and just really understanding, how important your why is, and just personal development. So I love that industry, but I did a lot of direct sales, multi-level marketing businesses.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because we should probably anchor that point in about sales, right? Which I believe that so many people tend to shy away from, but yet sales to me is providing another person an opportunity of something maybe they're not aware of, right? So wouldn't you say it's the perspective of how you approach someone when you're quote unquote selling?
Absolutely. I mean, I had to reframe that all the time, especially when you're in direct sales, you got to, talk to your family and friends. But I reframed it. It's not that I'm selling, it's something that they're looking for, that's something that they want to buy. And we're helping people, we are providing solutions for people. So when you look at that, that you're providing solutions, it's not about sales, it's really about helping and service. So that's how I like to view it's called, just really being influencing. I always say you kind of share to create awareness, give them the information, and let them make the decision whether it's right for them. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because if you are solving a problem and you have a business and someone's paying for you to solve that problem, you have a business. If you're solving a problem and no one's paying you, you have a hobby. You're just helping people. I want to really put that point across, because it's okay to make money, women. It's okay to have riches. It is okay to, as Ashley says, build empires. And it is okay for us to be confident and build our self-esteem around that, to know that it's okay for people to pay you for your services because you're offering them a solution to their problem. It's very important.
Yeah, I love how you say it's okay, because when you think about when I was working a job, a 9 to 5, I was really in sales too, because I was helping that owner, right, build their business and so forth. So I always say we're in sales, whether it's with our children, we're always selling them to do something, right? Whether you're working for someone else, you're always in that I won't say sell, but it's providing solutions, right? So I love what you say. It's okay for us as women to do it for ourselves, right? And that's what I love, working with women is, helping them identify their passions and their whys, and how can we monetize that so that they can actually be a service, right? So I love what you said. It is okay to make money,
Yes.
because
And
that's what our society is built on, right?
yeah, it is. And unfortunately, many women still struggle with that block of believing that money is infinite and that it's available at every level, no matter where you're doing business, how you're doing business, and that you deserve it, right? So if you're constantly talking about how hard life is and how hard it is to make money and how much you don't have, the universe will deliver you exactly what you're asking for,
You're
because we create the way that we think, and our actions create our current life. And I say this very bluntly, and some people don't like it, but that's okay. I'm not necessarily always trying to make friends. I'm trying to help women grow their businesses. If you don't like your reality, you've created it. So change it.
oh,
Because
you're so right, because I was one of those people. I was struggling. One of the things I struggle with is worthiness, right? And I realized I was so focused on trying to change my limiting beliefs and my worthiness, is that that kept showing up in my life, right? So what you focus on seems to show up. So I had to really learn how to focus on, oh yes, abundance, gratitude, being thankful. And when I started shifting my focus, then those things started showing up. It's more than just about the money. It's just about the lifestyle I want to provide for me and my family. So I focused on that. It's not so much, oh, I'm, making money to be rich. No, it's because I want to provide a lifestyle for me and my family. So you're so right. It's about your focus and our reality, our beliefs. It shows up, it does show up. So you're so right about that.
yeah, I actually am not afraid to say that I want to be rich, and it is so that I can have my own plane, so I don't have to deal with everything we're going through with COVID, and trying to get on a plane and go places, and them wanting to kick my 3-year-old grandson out because he's not wearing a mask. So when stuff like that happens, you shift the way that you look at things, and you say, no, now I really want to make more money in a specific area, because I would rather charter a plane and not have to deal with all of these issues, than being stuck states away from where I'm trying to get to with 2 infants and, 2 car seats and half the kitchen sink. So, yeah, it's tough. And when things like this change and shift in our economy, it makes it a little bit tougher. But again, it's the perspective of the way that we look at things. Every woman I've surrounded myself with, including Ashley, including you, Michele, when we've gone into this pandemic in March, our businesses grew. So let's talk about how you're helping women now in the current in blueprint, I'm going to say, that we're in of what the economy looks like, and what the just life in general looks like for homeschooling kids and e-learning and running businesses. And some might be working and now they're looking to launch businesses. Really, how are you helping your clients navigate through this and shift where needed?
Ashley said it very, she said she had 3 dogs. So, I'm a single parent. I have 2 dogs in a house full of distractions. And, I have a son, actually, he's just turned 17, but he was diagnosed with an illness at 6 years old. So he's actually been homeschooled. So I was already homeschooling. I was like half online business and half, still going to the networking events and, trying to build my business. But you're right. When the pandemic happened, I really like I said, so you can look at it, the glass half empty or half full. I saw it. Wow, this is an amazing opportunity, right? So I just focused on one. I wanted to bring my business 100% online. And so when I did that for myself, it's like, oh, I want to help other women, how they can bring their business online. And it's really through business strategies. I love, really identifying what a person's passion, what their strengths are, and then how can we take that and bring it to an online business. And there's so many tools out there that are, like you said, affordable, but there's so many tools that you can use. So first, let's look at the strategy, what's important to you, what success means to you, because you said it earlier. I remember when I built a business and I was focusing on the money, not really focusing on my why, I hit burnt out, right? Because I felt like I was a salesperson. So I really like to work with women to identify what is it that you really want? What is your vision 3 years from now, 5 years from now? What do you want your life to look at? And then we back and it's like, how can we create that with the online business? Yeah. And so it's about, creating a business that you love. And then I'm a master of, taking care of your family. So we talk about planning and goals and how does that look like, you blocking out time and so forth. Because I've done it, I love teaching that to other women.
Yeah, because there's more to our lives than just the money, right? You've got the dynamic of what impact do you want to have on the environment? What impact do you want to have on others' lives? What impact do you want to have financially? What impact do you want to have, in your resources? So there's so many different areas that we focus on. Yesterday in our Teaching Tuesday, Wendy talked about writing your eulogy. That is the first time I've ever heard that. I talk about being on your deathbed and regrets. We don't want to have those regrets, right? So we need to do the things that we want to do now in life and not, hold ourselves back. But she talked about your eulogy and actually writing it. If you were to write your eulogy, what would that look like? And she puts that eulogy on her vision board in the middle. And then her vision board, the things around the eulogy changes. But I thought that was brilliant. I've never heard of that. And how amazing to think about what legacy do you want to leave and what do you want to be said about you in your eulogy. And she said it took her 6 hours to write it. She cried for about 5 of it. And it's when you think about when you're dead and someone's, speaking at your funeral, what do you want to be remembered for? And
so right before the pandemic, had a tragic loss. My son-in-law was died in a tragic car accident. He was only 29 years old, and my daughter, they were ready to get married, purchase a house, and so forth. So that also helped me really realize time is short. And like you said, just what is the legacy that you want to leave for your family? And you talked about, like owning a plane and, having these things for your family. But when you think about it, when you're on a plane and they say, put the mask, the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then put it on your children. Well, if you want to do all these things, you want to have a nonprofit and you want to have all these things that you want to do in life, you do have to take care of yourself. And I'm learning that that's really, like you said earlier, it's okay, because you can't help other people until you have helped yourself. So, I totally, life is very short, and, a eulogy, that's amazing. How do you want your life to look like? Because it's not promised to us. So that's a phenomenal exercise. So,
So thank you, Michele. I appreciate your feedback on that. So tell, I love that you've taken, you took lemons, you made lemonade out of it, right? They said, so you took the pandemic and you had to shift and move your business online. And you're like, oh, well, since I've done this, there's so many women out there that need to move their business online. It's like the companies that shifted from making hand sanitizer, and companies that shifted from doing children's clothing to masks, right? With so many people have shifted based on the needs. And so I love that you had shifted, and now you're helping other women so timely, do that shift, especially if their businesses weren't online and they were relying on stepping in front of an audience or being out there, book signing and stepping on, stages that were not virtual. So brilliant that you do that. If a woman is looking to want to work with you because she's really needing to move her business online, how would she be able to reach you?
Well, a good way is definitely on social media. So it's Michele A. Wilson, and it's Michele with one L. And then also you can go to my website, which is velocitygroupglobal.com. biz, and you can schedule actually some time with me, or just even in the community, calling. I'm in the community. That's a great way to get connected. I love what you're doing with women, and I'm looking to start to engage, because that is part of it. Like you said, I didn't realize when we were going into the pandemic, everyone was like, oh, in a few weeks it's going to be over, right? And I was just more proactive, and I'm so glad that I was proactive, because now we don't even know when it's going to end. So, it's just taking those baby steps. You got to start somewhere. So I'm here to take your hand and walk you through it. But that would probably be the best way, just in the community. I'm here in the community. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michele. All of her information is below. Did you have an offer for our listeners today, or do you want them just to book time with you to be able to have a free call with you? What would you prefer?
Yeah, I would say just have a free discovery call. I love stories. I mean, everyone has a story that needs to be heard. And actually, I am working on a project right now called Rev Share Films. And so I am looking for people with amazing stories. So if you just want to speak, and then we can move from there. What are you looking for? What do you want to do with your business? But I'm looking for people to champion the stories. So that would kind of be an offer. Let's have a conversation.
Yes, and I'm very excited to be a guest on that. So thank you so much. I'm so honored to be able to do that with you, and I'm so excited about it. I was up till like 11:30 last night sending you information. So very excited about that. Michele's information will be on Facebook. It'll also be in your description. So please click on her links. And, ladies, when we offer things for free, like a free discovery call, take people up on that. I know even Ashley, you can reach out to her on Facebook if you wanted to have a phone conversation to understand more about bookkeeping and how that works and what her services look like. That's why we offer you the opportunity to have those calls with us. So thank you again, Michele. I love what you're doing. I love the way that you pivoted quickly and how now you're helping other women. That's wonderful. It's all about leading up. We've got to leave the ladder down and help other women up with us. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Michele. All right. I'm excited to talk about our next guest that we have, Miss Sathya Callendar. How are you today? You're on mute, so you just need to unmute yourself so that I can hear you. While you're unmuting yourself, she has 5 children, everybody. So Michele is the minority here for sure with the one. Ashley's got 4. I have 7. Sathya's got 5. So between us, we have an entire football team. That's what I'm talking about. So I love it that Sathya is a domestic violence advocate. She has overcome domestic abuse. She's a motivational speaker, and she's a multi-stream entrepreneur. She was a teen mom, same. So women, come on, give yourself a pat on the back. We have overcome so much and so much adversity to get to where we are today. And she knew God would never, ever leave her side. And she has become stronger. And because of her experiences and who she is today, she now helps other women really escape that abuse and overcome and really get to a point where they can love themselves again and they can believe in their worth in themselves. So Sathya, I'm so excited for you to be here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
I was so impressed with her the first time I met her that I was like, you have to come on my podcast. So let's talk a little bit about, I talked about you being a teen mom. Talk a little bit about your story because you have been through abuse. And I know that's really hard to talk about, but when you've come through on the other side and you've gotten stronger from it and you're helping, that really helps you heal even more when you're helping other women. So talk us through some of your trials.
Well, I overcame a 9-year domestic violence relationship. It started in the year of 2003. I was 6 months pregnant with my youngest son. His dad was in my life previously. I was 16 at the time, and he was 28. And I experienced a little bit of it, but at that time, 16 years old, I'm not knowing what domestic violence is. I mean, I witnessed it, watching my mom go through it at the age of 8, but it kind of became something that I thought was normal. And so here I'm 16 years old and I'm dating a 28-year-old, somebody old enough to be my dad, you know. So it started, you know, and then it started verbal, and then he proceeded on and it became physical. Well, I eventually got out of the relationship, and for several years, I had no contact. And then I spoke to his mom periodically because of my daughter. And I ended up speaking to her one day, and she said he wanted to speak with me. With a fast forward, he told me that he changed and so and so. And so I allowed him to come back in my life. And at first I didn't see, you know, any kind of abuse. I mean, he wasn't verbal, he wasn't emotional. I didn't see anything. But when I was about 6 months pregnant, it started verbal, and then it became emotional, and then it became mental, and then it became physical. Where I almost lost my life. And so at that point, you know, he had been already brainwashed. Best thing for me. And I believed it. I felt like there was nobody for me but him, you know? And so all of those years, I kept hearing, every time I wanted to leave, I kept hearing, oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to change. And you believe that, you know, and it'll go okay for a week or two. And then after a week or two, they're back to the same pattern. But by this time, it's like I had, you know, there was no support system, you know, so only thing I had was him and my kids, you know. And so I was one of those ladies that wore a smile on my face. So I would go to work and people would never know. People would never know because work was my safe haven. It wasn't even home, it was work. So when I was ready to get up and go to work, I was so full of life and everything. But then I knew once I got home, it was something totally different. And so I went through that for 9 years. And it took my kids to tell me that they started sleeping with knives under their pillow. And I said, why are you sleeping with knives under your pillow? And they said, Mom, we're planning to kill him. And that's all I needed to hear. I said, listen, this is not about me. This is about my kids. If I never thought about my children before going through this, I have to think about my kids now. And that was the breaking point for me. And I thank God that I had a friend that was there for me to say, I'll help you get out of this situation, because I was lost. Like I didn't, you know, it was like, where am I going to go with my kids? Where are we going to move? You know, he was always taking my money. I would go to work and I was in school as well. And then I would come home, he would take my money. So it was like, what was I going to do? And I thank God that I had a friend there that said, you know, I'll help you get a place. Don't worry about it. So that was the breaking point for me. I got out of the relationship after 9 years. All the praying my mom did and stuff that didn't, you know, I was listening to my mom, but it was kind of blurry to me. It took for my children literally to tell me that for me to get out of that situation, and I never looked back. And so moving forward, I then started my healing process. But during my healing process, I actually got into another relationship. And I say all this to say, ladies, you know, when you're going through domestic violence, you get out of the situation, don't jump into another relationship. Give yourself time to heal, because what's going to happen is you're going to get into that new relationship. You're going to carry all of this baggage. And then that new partner that you're with is going to start experiencing certain things. So now you got to worry about learning how to love this person again. At the same time, you're healing from what you went through. And so that's what I experienced. And so fast forward, you know, I had a patient, you know, he was patient with me. He was understanding, and that helped a lot. But I really should have gave myself time to heal first, but I didn't. And so fast forward that I moved along, and after going through my healing and after overcoming and really trusting God to find out what my purpose was, that's when he showed me that I needed to start a nonprofit organization, because I felt like if I can heal and overcome, surely I can help others to do the same. And so that's when October 2016 is when I launched my nonprofit organization, Scars of Survival. And I wanted to focus more so on women, but not totally on women, because I know that men go through domestic violence as well. And I just happened to experience that because a couple of men have reached out to me that have gone through domestic violence from their wives. So it is real and it does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. And so I that's when I partnered with the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and I'm still registered with them. And I started having events and just being there. I'm sharing my story, and I find that sharing my story does help a lot of women to open up. It's so many women I've came in contact with that have said, I felt alone. I felt like I was by myself, like I had nobody. And it took for me to say, this is what I went through, for them to open up and say, oh, wow, somebody else, she can relate. That's when they trust you. That's when they speak, and that's when they kind of, it helps them with their healing process. And so fast forward, I still have the nonprofit organization, but also the same year, that's when I was given the vision to launch the magazine. And this is go to show that things happen in God's time, not ours. I had the vision in 2016. I didn't launch the magazine until June of this year. But through those 4 years, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready financially, and I wasn't ready physically, because during that time, I became homeless again. I became homeless, and I ended up in a hotel with my kids. My ex-husband walked out and left me and my kids in the hotel, no car, no nothing. And that's when I partnered with Walmart with my gift boutique. So through it all, I kept pushing. I didn't stop. I didn't give up. I didn't say, oh my gosh, what I'm gonna do now? No, I trusted God and I kept pushing, right? So fast forward that, I ended up getting my own place and everything. I ended up getting a job with Brinks. So I was at Brinks for a while. And then I said, you know what, God, you gave me all these gifts, and you gave me all these gifts. I said, why should I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to work for myself. I want to continue walking in my purpose. So fast forward, we went through the pandemic, and we're still going through the pandemic, but that's when I decided to launch my magazine. My magazine is focused around domestic violence. So it's another platform for individuals, men and women, and even children, to come and share their story, giving hope to other individuals that have gone through or currently going through domestic violence. The magazine is global. So it has touched, it's in Ireland, it's in Barbados, it's in Africa, it's in Russia. So we've already touched some of the countries that's out of the US. And that's my vision, is to make sure that it goes global. Also, when I first, before I launched the first magazine in June, I wanted to partner with Barnes and Nobles and Books A Million. And God has actually opened that door for me. And it happened so quickly. That's why I say things happen in God's time, not ours. When we think we know what's best for us, but we really don't. We always want things when we want things, but no, it has to be in God's time, not ours, because He knows best for us. We don't know what's best for us. As you can see, like I said, from 2016, it took to 2020 for the magazine to launch. And I wrote the vision down, and it was plain. It was plain. I thought I was ready, but no, I wasn't ready. So here we are today. And October 1st will be the 4th magazine launched. September's issue was a special edition. And I say it was a special edition because I didn't just allow individuals who overcame or went through domestic violence to write. I opened it up for individuals who overcame different trauma, like bullying, going through surviving a burn. And then there's other stories that were shared in the September issue as well. So that's
No, Sathya, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know how personal that is for you. And you glazed over a section when you talked about your boutique with Walmart. And I know the full story behind that. And it is not easy to partner with Walmart. And from being homeless and living in a hotel and being a single mother, you said, I've got to do something to make money and to be able to survive here. And you created a path for yourself that most businesses can't even do with a full staff. So talk to us about, what was your boutique that you partnered with Walmart on?
So I have a gift boutique. I still have it. It's called Cutie Batooties Gift Boutique. And I started my business in 2014. When I started my business in 2014, the only thing I was doing was making diaper cakes. Those cute little diaper cakes that, you see floating around that's made of Pampers. Well, I started that. I started selling on eBay. Didn't know what I was doing, but I posted my work on eBay. I started getting a lot of sales. And it was to the point where I had to shut it down because it was only me. So fast forward, I waited until 2016. Yeah, it was 2016 actually. 2016, I started making the diaper cakes again, but this time I was being more. They were more designable. I was giving customers the option to customize more so, and I just really was paying attention to my competitors because that's what you should be doing. And so I was paying attention to my competitors, seeing what they offered that or what they didn't offer that customers might have wanted. And so fast forward, I implemented that into my business. I then made Cutie Batooties an actual business. So I not only got my EIN number, but my business license. I registered with the state of Georgia. I did all of that stuff. And so fast forward, 2008, no, 2017, I was sitting at the computer in the hotel and just browsing around Walmart. And I kid you not, it might sound crazy, but something drove my hand to click on that link, and I went to the website and just started putting in my information. But in my mind, I was thinking, they're not gonna call me. This is what I was thinking. They're not gonna call me. I'm just gonna do this anyway. I guess just for fun. And so I submitted my information. A couple of days later, I got an email that asked me to register. So I had to give them all my information, my EIN number. I had to let them know, show them my business license. I had to do all of this stuff. And so I said, wait a minute, is this real? Like, is this really happening? Like, they really sent me an email asking me to register. So I said, okay, well, this is interesting. So it kind of like threw me for a loop. So I submitted the information. And then like a week later, I got an email back and said, congratulations, you've been selected to be a supplier for Walmart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And so I said, well, okay, God. Okay, I see. Now, mind you, when I first started making diaper cakes, I had in my mind that I wanted to partner with a major retailer. I literally said and kept saying I wanted to partner with a major retailer. So I spoke it into existence as if it was already so. Fast forward 2017, here I am partnering with Walmart. And so I ended up getting the email. I shared it. I was so excited. I had to go in. You got to do a lot of back office stuff. But next thing you know, I uploaded all my cakes. I think I had like 10 cakes on the platform. We had to negotiate pricing and all this stuff. And next thing you know, I was selling through Walmart. They sent me 2 big boxes of stickers I had to put on there so the customers can know it was coming from Walmart. And so they even they advertised for me. They got me in Parenting magazine. And I mean, all of this happened while in the Motel 6. I was diaper caking and shipping off my orders. FedEx and UPS was coming to the Motel 6 to pick up my customers' orders. I'm going to tell y'all, listen, no matter what you're going through, we have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing. That should be motivation right there. When you're going through something, that should be motivation right there. I could have gave up. I could have said, oh my gosh, he left me. I could have said, my kids, what I'm going to do. I could have said, all of this, would have, could have, should have. But no, I trusted God. I kept my faith in God, and I kept pushing. I kept pushing. And today I still have, they gave me a lifetime contract. I've never even heard a lifetime contract. Like, what is that? A lifetime contract. So at any time I can go back on the website and post my cakes back up there and sell with Walmart. No matter what people say, I don't heard so many things. When I say so many things, I've heard people say, it's not, you can't do it. It can't be done. And the more people say what can't be done, I show them that God is real. It can be done, and I do it. Perfect. And that's what you have to do. Yeah. Because people are always going to say, it's always going to be something being said, but you got to know that what's for you is for you. That's it. What God has for you is for you, and you got to keep pushing through it all.
Amen,
Through it
girl.
all.
Good advice. Like, I got the chills because I wanted everyone to hear that no matter what, you cannot give up on yourself. You cannot give up on those you love. You cannot. You know, we are survivors, and we can thrive in life. And sometimes you are just surviving, and that's okay. The surviving part is where we gain our skills. It's where we learn. It's where we become resilient so that we can thrive. And Sathya, you are just a phenomenal example of someone that has been through some crap. You know, you've been dealt some not so great times, and no matter what, and I'm a survivor of violence from a child. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, so I get it. And it's, you can't just tell another person just leave, because
right.
when you're on the other side and you've left and you've gained back your confidence and you've gained back the respect that you now have for yourself that you've lost, you now can say, I understand I should have left earlier. But to tell someone who's in the middle of it, they don't understand. And we heard Sathya's story. It's tough for them to get out because there's nothing for them to go to when they get out. And we need to remember that. So anyone out there who is listening to this, who is watching this, who knows someone, if you are being abused yourself or know someone who is being abused, please, please, please contact the right authorities. Please, please, please contact Sathya. Please reach out and share this video, whatever we can do to help women or men feel empowered in their lives to escape that violence. That is not okay. It is not going to change until they have a support system that can help them remove themselves and their children from that situation. And there are plenty of opportunities and shelters around that can take them in. And Sathya is in connection with many of them. She can help so many women. So please get them in contact. And how would they reach out to you, Sathya? I know you're going to put your information in the links below, and I have them to put on the podcast so they'll be able to see them. But how can someone reach out to you if they wanted to reach out to you?
I'm on Facebook. It's author Sathya Callendar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on Instagram. It's author Sathya Callendar. You can message me on there on Instagram and Facebook. You can also email me. My email address is sathya.calendar@gmail.com. So email me. You can even go to the website if you want to book. If you want to book to talk to me, you can go on my website, which is www.scarsofsurvivalmagazine.com. On there is a link that you can click on and go and book to speak with me as well.
Is there like an emergency hotline that you know of, or any, suggestions that you give women that are in the middle of this? Have you researched that?
Yes. So the National Domestic Violence.
No, we lost her. There she is.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline has a 800 number that you can call, and I'll put that information inside of the comments as well.
Okay,
so
good.
They have a number. So what happens is you'll call them, and then based on your location and where you're at and what services you need, they'll connect you with an organization that can help you.
Beautiful. Good. Thank you. Because we need that. So thank you for doing that. If you weren't going to do that, I was going to drop it in there below. So I appreciate that very, very much. So, boy, did we end on a good note. Like, ladies, we have every opportunity possible to thrive in life. And it is okay if we are just surviving. I spent a good part of my life surviving. So just remember, if things aren't good today, that doesn't mean tomorrow isn't going to be brighter, or the next day isn't going to be brighter. Sathya went from a domestic violence to then being married to then being divorced and homeless in a hotel, and was able to build her business and partner with Walmart. So we never know what's around the corner. And today she's helping women who have been abused. Same with Michele. helping women get their businesses online. And it's very important that we keep swimming, just like they say in Nemo. We've got to keep swimming, even when it feels like we're going upstream in rough waters. We have to keep streaming because we were made for more. God made us perfectly, exactly the way we were needing to be made. And there's so many lessons that we're going to learn along the way that will prepare us for the greatness that's about to come for us. So just remember that you are where you need to be, and surround yourself with community. Always reach out to people when you need help, because we're here to assist. So thank you, ladies, for being with me today. Today was a phenomenal show. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I want to talk about next week. Instead of having our podcast on Tuesday, we're going to move our podcast to, instead of Wednesday, we're moving our podcast to the September 15th on Tuesday. We have Rachel Brown, who's the CEO of Synergy Group Marketing Communications. I love her messaging. And we also have Farshini. I'm not even going to try to say her last name. It's Farshini. That's what I'm going to say. But she's a doctor of Chinese medicine, fertility cycles, and hormones. She's a keynote speaker, an Awake TV teacher. So we get to learn a lot about hormones and fertility next week, which I'm really excited about as well. And also a lot about marketing. You know, ladies, every week we come to you with our information and our genius. And I have the pleasure and honor to interview these ladies that come forward to share their stories so that they can help you in your life thrive and overcome the obstacles that you're facing. So we hope you join us. We hope you subscribe, and see you next week. And I just want to leave you with this one message. Remember, you are the only you that has ever been, and you are the only you that will ever be. So how you pioneer your future is up to you. So be you and be strong. And we'll see you next week. Bye, ladies.